Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so excited to have you join us today. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. This session is exclusively for our RUX partners, and we're thrilled to have you as part of our growing partner community. Today's session is all about empowering you with the tools, knowledge, and resources to help your clients get the most out of Business Central and to help you grow alongside us. Next slide, Ben. I'm Anna Meyer, our Chief Sales Officer here at RUX, and I'm joined today by Ben Cole, our Strategic Sales Executive and founder of BC Toolbox. Before we dive in, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. The session is live, so please feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time. We'll do our best to answer the questions as we go through the demo. We're also recording today's session, so we'll share the recording and follow-up materials with you afterwards, so you can revisit or share with your team later if you so choose to do so. If you want to jump to the next slide, Ben. So I wanted to start with a little bit of background on RUX and what's been happening over the past year. RUX is a new brand that's been in the works for about a year and formally launched in August. Recognizing major gaps in the industrial equipment and asset management space, RUX acquired Open Door Technology, a 30-year plus industry leader in rentals and service management. We also wanted to expand our value for Business Central users further and to our partners. So we also acquired ERP Connect Consulting and the BC Toolbox product suite. With more than 30 productivity dashboarding and automation tools for Business Central, our goal is simple: to help you deliver more value to your clients and make every implementation stronger and faster. I'm going to jump to the next slide. So today we're proud to collaborate with over 70 partners and support more than 50 end customers worldwide. It's been an incredible journey so far, and we're just getting started. We have a really robust partner program where we offer co-marketing opportunities, unlimited pre-sales support with things like demos, collateral, references. And then, of course, we offer margin on any opportunities that we're working on together. We'll offer you 10% margin on any one-time or service fees, along with 25% margin on licensing fees. Our aim is really to make you and your customers successful and get as much value as possible out of Business Central. So with that, I'll hand things over to Ben to showcase our 7 must-have Business Central apps, all powerful tools that can help your clients save time, gain visibility, and drive real impact. Ben, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna. So we're going to be going through about 7 products today in the next 50 minutes or so. I'm going to start with our rental and service products. We're going to go just over a high-level overview. I'll have a QR code at the end. A lot of our partners have actually already signed up for tailored demos for rentals and service. So with that, again, that demo could be anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. So won't have enough time to go through it end to end today. But I do want to visit some of the high-level bullet points of the gaps we see in Business Central, as well as some of the solutions we've created, if that's something that your clients need or if it's an industry that you focus on. So we'll start with rentals, going through some of the gaps in Business Central as it exists today, right? So the 4 main ones being that Business Central doesn't have a great way to do availability or status tracking on rental units. It's tough to track the movement. It's tough to track the utilization. And when it comes to diverse rental billing terms, not a lot of great features or functions in out-of-box Business Central today. So as you can imagine, what we've created attempts to solve for all of those. So one of the main things being an added availability matrix and graphical scheduler in order to more easily see your rental units, where they're at, what's available, all of that good stuff. Number 2, that was a gap on the prior slide, is the ability to track the movements and transfers, right? We want to know where our items are. We want that to be fluid and make it easy to switch site to site or job to job. We've added that within our rental product. Monitoring utilization is obviously huge. We want to maximize the amount of time that our assets are being used, making sure that we're generating as much profit as possible off of the assets that we own. So utilization there is key. And with utilization and getting those out to customers, having flexible billing terms is also key, right? We're able to do things like hourly billings, best price, prorations. One of my favorite pieces that I've seen recently is if you have something out on a 4-week term, but they return it 2 weeks early, and that 2-week price was better than the 4-week price, of course, it will actually automatically create a credit memo for the difference, which is awesome. And customers love that, right? Keeps them coming back for more because they know that you're being fair to them. And then finally, anytime you have recurring invoices for rentals, right? Let's say you've got a rental unit out on site. Maybe it's a monthly billing or every 4 weeks. We have the ability now within Business Central to automatically generate those and make that recurring billing process very easy for these rental units. And like I said, if in month 3 they return it within the first week or something like that, automatically prorate that and issue a credit memo. I'm going to keep going, but if there's any questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat there. The next product that I want to talk about, again, high level, is our RUX service product. Again, just highlighting some of the gaps that exist in Business Central today, right? Number one being preventative maintenance, right? So anytime we've got assets and using rentals and service in unison, of course, is probably a question that many folks have. These products do work hand in hand, and maintaining that or monitoring that preventative maintenance on those rental units or those customer or company owned assets is huge, because we want to fix those things and make sure that they're not breaking down before that even ever occurs, right? So preventative maintenance is huge, and it's a gap that exists today within Business Central. Number 2 is the ability or the inability to capture signatures within out-of-box Business Central today, inability to do robust technician scheduling, and then finally, any sort of budgeting around service and rentals. So as you can imagine, we've built a lot of features and functions within the service space. I'm not going to read through all of these individually, but all these bullet points on this slide in terms of service, again, the high level ones being the ability to track the preventative maintenance, capturing signatures in the field, advanced warranty functions, the budgets to actuals, our visual resource scheduler, right? A whole slew of various features and functions that help just take your service management to the next level, whether that be in-house servicing of units or even servicing units in the field or doing any sort of field service. So like I said, if we wanted to talk about that, we could talk all day long. My recommendation would be get a tailored demo set up for your exact use case or your customers' use cases. We're happy to do both, either a internal meeting for you as the partner, or if you have a client that's interested in it, we're able to do that as well. This QR code up on the screen is going to take you directly to Darren's calendar, who's our product manager in charge of rentals and service, and he will knock any demo out of the park if you get something scheduled with him. So highly recommend getting that scanned if you're interested, and we'll continue to move forward. So with these next 5 apps, I'm going to talk FitGap again, but I'm also going to actually do a quick live demo of these products within Business Central. So the first one I'm going to talk about today, and this will kind of gradually go in a natural workflow, is advanced CRM, right? So we're going to add some leads and opportunities, get them to that customer phase, talk about some of our other tools like invoice and statement delivery, commissions, and finally get into some dashboards. But like any good process, we've got to have a lead come in the door and eventually convert them to a customer to get started. So starting with the gaps as to out-of-box Business Central, you've probably seen a lot of the relationship management stuff in Business Central. There are a lot of gaps and a lot of not so easy to use things in that feature within Business Central. So again, just calling out some of the gaps. One is the contact card, right? There's just one contact card in Business Central today, no ability to break that out. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 2 is tracking, right? CRMs are huge for tracking. We want to track everything. We want to track tasks, calls, emails, meetings, notes, you name it. We want that to be on the contact card, and we want to see it end to end through that whole life cycle of that lead, opportunity, and customer. And then finally is the dashboarding, right? So Business Central in many areas lacks just reporting in general, as well as dashboarding. So we'll kind of talk about that here in a second. But the 4 main things I want to highlight and show in today's demo are the segmentation of our contact card, right? We break it up into a lead, opportunity, and customer card, which allows your reps and managers to more efficiently and effectively track your pipeline, see where things are at. That adds into number 2, right? Task tracking, activity logging, emails, phone calls, notes, tasks, you name it. We're able to link those things to our leads, opportunities, and customers in order to make sure that we're following up, hit those touch points, right? I think last I saw it takes about 5 times to talk to like someone who's like a cold lead, I think was the statistic, before they even consider buying. So, we want to make sure that we're having those follow-ups, sending those emails, which we can absolutely do within our CRM tool within Business Central. Next is dashboarding, just basic dashboarding. If Anna's monitoring the sales team here at RUX, she needs to know across everybody real quick what's our total quota as a team, but also be able to drill down into individual salespeople to see how effective everyone's doing maybe this month or this quarter, to see what our pipeline and realization is actually going to be. And then finally, this is kind of unique. We've created something called estimates, which think of this like a sales quote with a lot more flexibility, right? We're able to put like items and customers that don't even exist in the system today just to generate a form if somebody just needs an off-the-cuff estimate, right? We all know that a lot of those estimates you send out, you might send it to them and you may never even hear from them again. We don't really want to bog our system down with all of that. So this is just an option. Of course, if you did want to track that, those sales quotes and every feature that out-of-box Business Central has to offer is, of course, still there in the system. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into a quick demo of this solution, starting just on my homepage of Business Central. So I think I'm in a invoice and statement delivery role center here, which we'll get to in a second. But what I'd like to start with is just creating a lead from scratch within CRM, right? So I'm going to come to our lead contacts. This is going to segment just the existing leads that I have in the system today. I've got a contact timeline over here, some notes, fact box with a map and all that good stuff. We'll get into that in a second. But really, let's just say somebody brand new comes into our demo for today. So I'm just going to do, partner webinar test is going to be my lead name for today for this webinar. You'll notice that the salesperson automatically defaulted to me because I'm logged in, right? I'm logging my leads. A lot of little ease of use things like that, where it's just booking that for me. You can, of course, change that if you need to. This is just going to be the primary contact at the organization. So I'm going to just put myself in here so I can get all of these emails. You see a lot of different fields here. You can, of course, populate those for all the sake of time today. I'm going to leave a lot of these blank, but it'll just be basic address information, some questionnaires, things like that. Keep coming down here. Interest level, this is going to default to low because we are a lead right now, but now we're going to start to get into some of our user-defined configurable fields, right? So you can actually create your own interest levels if this helps you segment your leads and opportunities. We're going to throw an estimated contract value in there of $5,000. We're going to say we think they're going to close by the end of the year. And then finally, some more user-defined fields. We'll say that the category they're interested in, the BC Toolbox. Their lead source came from a LinkedIn post that I did. And for the address, I'm just going to put my zip code in there so we can see this on a map. So I'm in a suburb of Dallas, Texas. We can see now the map automatically updated with a pinpoint of my location, or in this case, the lead's location, right? This is just a free form text field. We added that in because a lot of people were just, salespeople just want to throw random notes and things, maybe unstructured for the time. So you can absolutely do that here. And then one of my favorite pieces down here is the lead profile. So, what are they interested in? We'll say they're interested in a partner relationship because that's what we're all here for today. And your industry is in field service because you're looking at the rentals and service apps, right? So again, just more segmentation of our lead. And then finally, before we go and convert this to an opportunity, a checklist, right? So in order to convert this lead to an opportunity, I need to send them an intro email. I need to send them a product listing, and I need to have a qualifying call. That's my checklist. Your checklist could be whatever you want, right? This is all just user defined. So I haven't sent them an email yet, but let's do so here. I'm going to click send email. I'm going to click intro email. And this is going to pre-populate with some text. So this is going to be the body of the email. I've got a RUX product guide as well as a Toolbox 2-pager, automatically sending to my email because of that contact card. And at this point, I can just click send. And now it's off, right? So at this point, the email has been sent to our contact at the company. You'll notice the sent email box updated to 1, indicating that an email's been sent. And maybe I want to make a scheduled task to follow up with Ben in, let's just say next week. I'll I'll put this as a follow-up. I'll say the task is going to take me 5 minutes. That'll come into play later when we're, seeing how much work we've got to do on a given day. Make sure we're not overloading ourselves. We're going to follow up on the 18th next week. And at this point, we're good to go. So now I've got one primary contact. I've sent one email, and I've got one pending task. At this point, I'm going to check off the intro email, send product listing. Let's pretend that we had a call with them just so that we can get them to the next phase of the cycle here. So at this point, we're good to go. We've got a little timeline here that just tracks what we've done so far. And at this point, I'm going to make them into an opportunity, right? We're assuming some time's passed and they've had the call and all that good stuff, right? Just kind of trying to streamline this. So they are no longer on our lead list. That's the main thing to call out here. We've got 3 lists. We've got leads, opportunities, customers, and a 4th list that's called all contacts if you don't know where somebody's at today. So we'll come into the all contacts list just because maybe we forgot where they're at. That's no problem. I'm going to type in partner. Should be this one, the partner webinar test. Let's click into that. And the first thing you'll notice is everything maintains, right? We see the emails, we see the tasks, we see the timeline, we see all of this data. You can see the last date we interacted with them, the last time this record was modified, and we have a new checklist now, right? So because they went from lead to opportunity, we now have a new checklist. Again, this is whatever you want it to be. This is user defined. So assign opportunity value. We actually did that during the lead phase, right? We assigned them a $5,000 estimated contract value. I can check that there. Let's pretend that we sent them a quote and that they also signed this contract. Again, just to keep the demo moving. And let's pretend that we completed this task. We followed up with them. They said, yep, we want to get moving. Let's get whatever we're purchasing purchased, right? So at this point, and this is one of the major gaps I see in a lot of CRMs that are external to Business Central, is something as simple as make into customer, right? When I click this button, it's going to ask me what templates do you want to use? That's great. We'll just say new customers, fine for today. About to apply the template. Yes, I want to apply the template. Opportunity's been made into a customer, right? So now without doing anything fancy, again, this is all directly embedded into Business Central. We now have a customer record within Business Central that's been automatically created with an out-of-box template, right? They still exist in CRM. You can still track all their tasks and all that kind of stuff. But now we have this customer. We see the address information. The template populated some things like the document sending profile is email, which we'll use here in a second when we get into invoice and statement delivery. I must not have added this is an AR email. So if you have like a billing department or something like that, we'll do that. I'm going to just update a few of these things for when we get into invoice and statement delivery that we want to send separate files. Posting groups came in. Let's see, payment terms. So those were all things from my template. But that's really showing kind of the value of a start to finish lead opportunity to customer using those templates seamlessly integrated, or I should say embedded into Business Central, which is common across all of our products. They're all going to be directly embedded into BC. I'm going to take a quick breath and see if there's questions. Sounds like there might be. Anna,
Yep.
Yeah, we got a question?
So quick question. Somebody asked, my sales team travels to different locations. Is this available via mobile too?
It is. So we rely on the out-of-box BC mobile app. So nothing fancy there. If you have the BC mobile app already downloaded, you should have this at your fingertips. My recommendation would be to update your role center to be one of the, one of these CRM role centers, manager, sales rep, something like that, just because it'll give you a more tailored view directly within that mobile feature. But yes, you can absolutely have mobile. If you don't need to be creating anything and you just need to be like logging tasks and checking on things, you can get away with a team member license, which is, again, just that Microsoft team member license, not anything from us. If you need to be creating kind of like Business Central would be out of box, same type of licensing is going to apply. You need an essentials or a premium, depending on what you're doing. If you're going to be creating leads, creating customers, again, just in line with Microsoft's licensing guidelines there for permissions. Anything else?
Nope, looks good so far.
Cool. I've got an extra minute or so in this segment, so I'm going to go to, I'll just show a manager dashboard real quick. So this is what I was talking about in the PowerPoint. So as a manager, I'm seeing all of the people on my team, month to date, quotas, month-to-date sales, month-to-date pipeline, year-to-date quota sales and pipeline, number of open tasks and past due tasks, right? So if I look at this and I'm having a slow week, maybe, well, maybe it's because I have 14 tasks and 13 of them are past due right now, right? So like I'm just not completing my tasks, which as a manager, this is super easy to see. I can see maybe who's delinquent versus who's getting everything completed. I did complete 7 tasks, but I still have 13 that are outstanding. This would just be a list of all of our pipeline currently across my team. You can see the last date they were interacted with. So I've got some back here, probably these are from 2023, right? Old, just demo data I probably did in a demo, haven't touched again. So they sit there, but that's a good use case as well, because I'm sure everybody on this call has situations like that, right? You had a lead years ago, they're still in your system. Nobody's ever talked to them since, and they could be good, right? Or if they're not, you should probably just close them so that they fall out of here, close loss. And then finally posted sales invoices. So a lot of reporting. We'll get into this when we go to our financial dashboard, as well as our health check at the very end of the presentation, but a lot of good visualizations here that we've been able to create in the system. So I'm going to jump back to the PowerPoint slides. That takes us through our third app of the day. So that was everything related to our advanced CRM tool. Now that we've got a customer, let's go create some invoices for that customer, some orders for that customer. We can even throw a prepayment on the customer. But at the end of the day, the most important piece is to get those invoices out to our customers and make sure that our customers are paying us, right? They don't know that they should be paying us if they've never received their invoice. That's where invoice and statement delivery comes into play, right? So why did we create invoice and statement delivery? We saw a few gaps in Business Central as usual, those being these main 3, right? Emailing documents out of Business Central, in my opinion, has always been very manual and time consuming, right? There's a lot of dialog boxes that pop up. There's a lot of different hoops that you have to jump through. It's not easy to personalize those emails. The list goes on, right? But one of the major gaps I always saw was just pain points around sending documents in Business Central. Second, kind of going off that cadence, is bulk sending or emailing upon posting. Always had to build customizations, write some lines of code to get this to work. This is directly embedded into our product now. Select whatever you want, click send. That's going to go off to your customer. Of course, going off to the right customers and the right consolidation efforts that we'll talk about here in a second. And then automated sending of reminders, statements, payment receipts, doing recurring invoicing, that kind of stuff. We'll get into that when we're talking about features next. But just some of the common gaps, I'm sure you can think of more that you've come across, which obviously there are more, and we've got solutions, I think, for pretty much all of those. So we'll demo this in a second, but high-level features, right? Number one, the ability to automatically send documents upon posting, right? So we've got 3 different ways we can send documents in Business Central. We can automatically send them when you post. You click the post button, no dialog boxes. It's just going to send them automatically. Number 2 is send them from a dashboard, right? So we're just going to show a dashboard, list everything that you've got in the system. We'll have a date timestamp on when the last time it was sent. We'll have it in a pending status if it hasn't been sent. You can send them that way. Just click whatever you want, click a button, it'll email them. The third is a job queue, right? Set up the job queue, say, hey, send out invoices that haven't been sent yet every night at 5 p.m., right? Or every week, batch them up and send them out. Same goes for statements, right? So send on post, send from dashboard, send from job queue are our main 3 options. Obviously, on something like a statement, there's no posting routine. So on statements, it would just be dashboard and job queue, right? Either send them one off from the dashboard, which we'll show, or schedule it on a job queue every month, send those statements out, right? So it kind of talks about bullet point number 2. Number 3, exceptions management, right? You have the ability to skip this on certain customers. You can do a lot of overrides on various customers for anything down to the subject of the email and the body of the email, all the way to, a simple skip, send on post type routine like we've got there. Already talked about the scheduling, which is another main feature that we've got. Second from last bullet point here, auto email AR aging internally on a daily basis. This is a nice little hidden gem, I like to say. If you want that AR aging to be in your inbox every day, we can absolutely do so with this tool. It'll send you an Excel sheet with 2 different tabs. One is the high level, like traditional AR aging with the buckets. And the second is going to be a list of all the open invoices that make up the detail of that first tab. And finally, company branding, right? We'll show you this in a second, but we've got rich text HTML email templates that give you more flexibility to do this, right? So when I send out emails from Business Central, which we've been using since the day we created this tool in our internal instance, has very rich branding, right? I've got I used to have the ERP Connect logo. We've now got the RUX logo, right? I've got invoice attachments with the RUX logo on them. I've got links, branded links to our payment portal, which you can directly have clients make payment for from the invoice. So we'll show all of that, but it's a very professional looking document. And we found that it helps speed up that payment traction, both from the invoices as well as the statements if people forget to do so. So let's jump back into Business Central. We're going to show invoice and statement delivery here real quick. This is
And
not.
Ben,
Yeah, sorry, is there a
real
question?
quick, this
Yep.
is a comment from the group, not a question, but they said this saved one of their customers' finance teams 3 hours per day, this app.
Wow.
So this is some excitement from the partner community.
They must have had a lot of invoices. That is great to hear, though. We love that. We've got this actually our highest rated product on AppSource. I think it's up to 34 reviews or something like that. And we see a lot of comments like that, right? Saving multiple hours a week, typically a day's even better. We just did one where I think they were sending out over 1,000 statements a month, and they were literally printing them and sending them, and it was a person's like full-time job basically. So love to see that. We'll continue going on a similar note, right? From collecting cash from customers. This is not on our list today, but it's going to take me 2 seconds, so I'd love to show it. We've unlocked the ability to do prepayments at a customer level, right? So traditionally, you can only do prepayments at a sales order level or purchase order level. We can now take a prepayment at the customer level. We have no idea what invoices or orders this is going to apply to. I like to think of it as like a retainer at a law firm sort of thing, right? You got to pay your attorney probably $10,000, right, just to get started talking to them, and then they're just going to chip away at it as they go. So we'll add this in. Looks like just out-of-box dimension requirements. So we'll add those dimensions in here. I'm going to post this prepayment, and now we've got $1,000 on their account. I'm just going to create a quick cash receipt to pay that. We'll assume that they've now paid us the $1,000. And again, just out-of-box cash receipt journal here. Get that guy paid. And now if I look at my prepayment, it's saying I've got $1,000 on account. This invoice has been paid. If you want to see what that prepayment invoice looks like, everything's got to drill down, it seems, these days. So we can drill down into that invoice. Prepayment on account, $1,000 at a deferred service revenue account here, which is great. Hits your balance sheet, doesn't hit revenue yet until we start to go ahead and post those documents. So I'm going to show the options that we talked about on invoice and statement delivery. The first being the send on post. So if I come to my invoice and statement delivery setup, all I have to do is turn this email upon posting on. Actually, it's down here, invoice, email upon posting. You can see we can have different setups for shipments versus invoices versus service invoices versus credit memos, right? Whatever you want here, you can absolutely do. Reminders, I'm going to update this as well because it's hard to mimic in a demo instance. So we'll just say send out reminders every day, basically. But let's go ahead and get started with those invoices. So let's go to a sales invoice. And I'm going to create a new one for our partner client, right? I'm trying to bring this thing full circle. This is the lead that we started with this morning, this partner webinar test, right? So let's do a Surface 8 is what we're going to sell them today. It's $1,300. We've got $1,000 on prepayment. This is another app we've got called Advanced Notifications. We're just getting a pop-up note here that says, hey, try upselling the keyboard and mouse package. So that's great. We'll consider that here. But just for the sake of time, we'll keep going. I'm going to show commissions management here in a second, but we can see that our commissions are calculating on this sales order. If I click into the commissions, it'll show me how it's calculating and what rules are being applied. So in this case, I get 30% on every deal. So I'm getting 30% of that right there. We also have a promo going on right now for all of our salespeople. If they sell surfaces, they get an extra 10% commission. So right now I'm getting actually a 40% commission on this deal. We'll get into that in a second on commissions, but want to focus on invoice and statement delivery for now. Here, that skip auto email. If you wanted to do that exceptions management, I could skip the emailing of this invoice. I don't want to do that because I want to show the power. And then here we've got exempt from prepayment. So if you didn't want to use a prepayment, you could exempt it here. Or if you wanted to apply a partial prepayment, you could also define that amount. So a lot of flexibility within our tools. But again, Keep it simple. Let's go ahead and post this sales invoice. Another thing you'll notice, this invoice number is going to be the same pre-posted versus versus it being posted. That's part of our advanced document numbering feature that we've got here. So let's take a look at the posted document. And this looks perfect, right? We've got the $1,300. We've got $1,000 being applied from the prepayment. Let's go see. Got my email in here somewhere. All right, so we've got a handful of emails that we've already gotten, right? So let's just go through those. Welcome to RUX Software. We got this when we sent that CRM email earlier this morning. If I go to the product guide, this would be that product guide that I attached within the CRM note. Sales shipment alert. This is coming from advanced notifications, just telling my salesperson, which is me, that a sales shipment has gone out. This is the part that we just talked about, right? The invoice and statement delivery, auto emailing, right? So we've got the Microsoft Surface 8, the funds applied for prepayment. They owe us $300. I've got all that beautiful branding right within the document. And even within the email body, it looks very nice, right? Well, thanks for being a valid client at ERP Connect. Here's your invoice number. Here's the amount due. Here's the due date. We've got a pay now link that you can jump into as well. So a lot of robust functionality when it comes to getting those emails out within Business Central. I'm going to do one more because I want to show a statement. So we'll just do this real quick. Again, nothing fancy. We'll just do the same thing that we just did. Partner webinar test. Let's come down to the lines. We'll do the Surface again, just because I know we've got stock on that. We get the pop-up note. We get the commissions tracking. I'm going to click post. And now there'll be no prepayment on this one because the prepayment's been exhausted. Let's look at this invoice. It's great. Got our commissions. Commissions flow through to the posted document as well, of course. We've got those notes coming in here. So we see those advanced notes carry over to the posted documents as well. And if I go back into my email, again, handful of different documents, you owe $1,300, right? That's all great. That's all option one, send on post. Option two is from the invoice delivery dashboard, which will show you a list of all the documents in your system. It'll show you a list of when they've been sent and who sent them, right? 11/12 at 10:38. If I want to send these again or send these for the first time from the dashboard, I can just click send selected. And basically, it's just going to send these out to my customer again. Let's look at my options here. So when sending out multiple, I told it to consolidate into one email, right? I just sent 2 invoices to the same customer. I don't want that to send 2 emails. I want it to send 1 email, right? So we consolidate that. We got 2 invoices now in 1 email with a nice little grid that shows what invoices are included in this email, right? So that's option 2. And then option 3 is a job queue. I can't really show that in a demo. A little bit difficult, obviously, just because you got to schedule it, has to run at a certain time. But what I will say is that within Business Central, we make it easy for you. We give you those job queues right out the gate. Everything's going to be in our object range. So like starts with 712 or 717 typically, but you can see all these different job queues that we create for you. The one that we'd be looking at right now would be send invoice emails. Send statement emails is very popular as well, which we'll show in a second here before jumping back into our PowerPoint. So last thing I'm going to have time to talk about today is our statement delivery. And the main feature that I want to highlight within statements is the ability to send invoice attachments when you send statements, right? So let's just go ahead and send the statement email. Again, I could select all of these if I wanted to. I could throw this on a job queue if I wanted to. It's, of course, tracking the last time a statement was sent and who sent that statement. This last statement number will just continue to increment very similarly to if you were printing those. We make it easy as well here. You can print these directly from the statement delivery dashboard, or you can just go ahead and email them. And now what this is going to do is it's going to say, hey, thanks for being a valid client, blah, blah, blah. Please find your statement. We've got that statement attachment right here. which just shows the 2 invoices that we owe on. And then it also includes those invoice attachments, right? Most common question when somebody gets a statement is, hey, I never received those invoices. You're not going to get those questions anymore because the invoices will automatically be included when those statements are being sent out, which is a huge value add as well. All right, we got about 19 minutes left, so I'm going to keep moving. I got 3 more apps that I'd like to show. Any further questions in the chat? Otherwise, I'm going to talk quickly about commissions management, and then we'll finish up with our 2 dashboards that we're going to talk about today.
No more questions on that one, Ben.
Okay, perfect. We will keep moving. All right, commissions management. Again, gaps. If you've ever tried to do commissions in Business Central, you'll notice that there's like 2 or 3 fields that you can manage, right? Who's the salesperson? What's their rate? Seems to be about it, right? So when we talk gaps, no robust commissions tracking functionality, no flexibility with commission tracking, no great reporting on commissions tracking, right? Almost every company I've seen that hasn't built their own tool for commissions or uses a third-party tool is doing it in Excel, right? Which obviously leads to a lot of manual work and potentially a lot of areas for missing commissions or paying people too much on those sales, right? So we've, again, embedded this directly into Business Central. We've got about 10 different things it does, and we'll talk about 3 today with the main solutions and features. If you only have one takeaway, it's the commissions matrix, which we'll show in a second. This is the engine behind everything, right? You're going to define your criteria, what rules are going to be applied, salesperson, posting groups, dimensions. I'll show this in a second within the user interface. There's about, I think, like 25 different things you can segment commissions on. And when the rules apply, those commissions will get triggered, just like we saw previously, just very briefly, right? I was getting 30% on everything, and we were having a promo on surfaces. So I was also getting another 10% there. Then, of course, we've got commissions journals. Think of these like, your general journals, right? Just calculating pending commissions, posting the journals when the sales documents are posted automatically, and then finally creating commissions ledgers, similar to customer ledgers or vendor ledgers, right? These are creating payables, right? We have, you can either have W-2 employees, you can have contractors, all different types of people that need to get paid commissions. Of course, an employee is going to get paid on a payroll. Maybe a 1099 vendor, you're actually going to cut them a physical payment. So we can do both of those. So let's say we had a contractor, those commissions ledgers would be created. Let's say they were owed $5,000. You can create payment journals directly from commissions ledgers like you would on vendor ledgers. And then it will close those remaining amounts and say, hey, we took this $5,000 payment to the salesperson. We're going to close out these commissions ledgers. And now that brings all of that reporting in sync to ensure that people are getting paid what they need to get paid, but that they're not getting paid twice, right? So a lot of robust functions and features here. We'll jump into the demo of commissions here. And again, we kind of already showed it, but let's go to commissions management. And these are kind of the 10 or so things that you can do with commissions management out of box. You've got the setup, which is just going to be, your base kind of setup of the app, turning it on, defining the debit and credit accounts and things like that for accruals. We've got the user setup, so who in the system can view commissions dashboard and override those, things like that. Sales teams and sales groups are very crucial. So one real life example we had recently is a client had about 900 different commissions rules because they had 900 salespeople. Big organization, right? And they were all getting commission in similar ways. So we took those 900, we boiled it down to about 15 different commissions rules. And then instead of making a new rule every time somebody started, we would have someone create their salesperson card and put them in a group, right? Now all we have to do is maintain the group. That permission or that commissions for the group applies to all salespeople in the group. So now if somebody leaves, doesn't really matter. We don't have to worry about it. All we have to worry about is maintaining the sales groups and making sure that people are in groups. Territories, again, working similar, just another way to segment people, group people, and commission people based on their territories. And then finally, this commissions matrix, which is kind of the, again, engine behind everything. So you create your different rules. You tell it what documents you want to include it on, right? Do you want to include it on, you can even calculate potential commissions on quotes, of course, invoices, return orders and credit memos are unique as well. Do you want to claw back their commissions if the customer returns it? If so, you want to include credit memos and return orders here, because if I pay Anna $100 on the sale she makes this morning, but then they come back tomorrow and say, actually, we don't need it anymore. Well, we want to, have it automatically take that $100 back out before anybody gets paid on it. Flows through the commissions ledgers, automatically closes those records out. Great stuff there. And then the rules, right? So Ben 30. Well, I only want this Ben 30 rule to apply when the salesperson is Ben, right? I only want Preston 60 to apply when Preston is the salesperson, right? And then on Preston's, right, maybe his is higher because it's 60% on services, right? So this is a general product posting group. So I'm saying when the salesperson is Preston and the group is services, give Preston 60%, right? Commissions period basis. Do you want it to be on a document basis? Do you want it to be on a monthly, a quarterly, an annual basis, right? So this is where you can start hitting larger quotas, right? We want to give certain ranges. In this case, we've got a quarterly commission on product from from 100,000 to basically an unlimited amount of money, right? So for the first period, maybe they're not getting anything, and that because they have a base salary, let's say, and then once they hit an accelerator over $100,000 of sales in a quarter, now they're going to get, whatever percentage we defined here, 30% it looks like, right? We could talk about all the different combinations, all day long, but that's kind of the main things that we're looking at here, right? Who are your salespeople or your groups? You can even have some customers that we give extra commissions on. If you sell into these customers, you get an extra 10%. If you sell surfaces, here we have the item number filter. So this is when we're selling surfaces, everybody, because there's no salesperson, right? So no salesperson's defined. So blank means all. So give everyone 10%. And then if we come over here to the far right, just who are we paying that to? So in this case, I'm on the first line, Ben. I want to pay it to Ben as an employee. I want to pay it to Preston as an employee. I want to pay to Matt as a vendor, right? So in this scenario, we'll assume Preston and I are employees and Matt is a 1099 contractor that we're paying commissions on, after the fact or whatever. So whole lot of different combinations that we can create there for commissions, which is obviously fantastic. That takes care of the setups. We talked about the journals. So we've got our pending commissions and our commissions payment journals. We've got our reporting. So we've got our commissions ledgers, which I'll show you real quick. So this would be, let's look. So these commissions ledgers are live. These are the documents we literally just posted this morning. So we've got a remaining balance of 130 and 390 payable to myself. That's from that transaction that we just did. Obviously, a whole bunch of different things we can do up here because I'm an admin. You can approve the ledgers. You can change commissions. Again, if you're an administrator, you have the permissions for that, but I am in this case. So if you make a mistake, you can obviously update those there. There's audit trails as well. If you update those, who changed it? What did they change it to? What did it used to be? And then finally, again, we're going to go deep dive into dashboards next, but here's this little dashboard. Here are my salespeople, commissions by date, top salespeople, posted sales with commissions. You can do different date formulas up here. I'm probably in like this week or something, which is why it's just showing the sales I did today. But a whole bunch of different functions there within commissions management. Got about 10 minutes left. I want to show 2 more dashboards, so we'll keep on moving. If there's any questions, please just interrupt me. But finalizing the presentation with 2 dashboards, right? Financial dashboard and health check. I'm going to go through the PowerPoint first for both, and then I'm going to jump into the demo just so that we can do both side by side. The gaps are going to be almost identical for financial dashboard and health check. So no out of box really reporting or dashboarding. That's fantastic within Business Central. You kind of got to build everything from scratch, right? Whether that be in BC for your balance sheets and income statements or in Power BI with visualizations and all that jazz. And then again, just having the external tools obviously requires additional links to get things to display in BC, has additional maintenance, has additional costs, right? A whole bunch of different things when looking at building dashboarding externally to Business Central. So how have we solved for this, right? We've got about 34 KPIs and metrics that come with minimal configuration. Most of our clients are getting financial dashboards set up in under 30 minutes. And I know even some of the partners here, right, have seen that in action and seen how quick that is able to be deployed. Everything being embedded into BC is one of our core features or functions across all of our apps, right? So you don't need external licensing. Everything's directly embedded and built into BC with native AL coding language for Business Central with some Java controls to display some of those user-friendly graphs within Business Central. And you kind of get that one-stop shop and full drill down capabilities. So we'll show that here in a second. I'm going to skip this as we go to health check. Health check gaps, basically the same, right? No great dashboarding options. This one, we're calling out system indicators and notifications for areas of improvement, and no quick ability to scan multiple modules at the same time. This is also a free app that I should call out. This is one of our only free apps that we've got, but it is super valuable and would highly recommend deploying this into your install for many different reasons. Month-end close, year-end close coming up. Again, since this is partner focused, we see a lot of partners using this when they're either inheriting new clients, kind of trying to see maybe what they're getting themselves into from just a health check standpoint of maybe a new client they acquired, or for your own clients' go lives, right? A lot of these things like missing posting groups, subledger to general ledger at go live, customer aging statistics, missing accounting periods, right? These are all things that I know because I used to do these myself manually. Could take 4 or 5 hours just to put this report together. Now you can do it in about 5 to 6 minutes just by downloading the health check. So let's go demo both of these at the same time, and then I'll pass it back to Anna to take us home. But let's go into the financial dashboard real quick. Like I said, all directly embedded into Business Central here. My favorite is the AR dashboard, so that's what I have it defaulting to. Let's expand this tab real quick. Within our AR dashboard, it's very interactive and intuitive. I can click on these different buckets to show or hide them. If I want to know what's in a sliver of my aging, I can just click into it and see the documents there that are made up. One unique thing about ours is that we're actually drilling directly into the customer ledger entries, which means that you can show the document directly from the ledgers. You can apply payments to invoices directly from these ledgers. So when I say interactive AR aging, I really mean interactive, because you can do a lot of things that you traditionally wouldn't be able to do with just a typical aging report, right? Past due customers, I just want to see who all of my customers are, what their current balance is, how much they owe. I can export this to Excel if I'd like, again, in the customer ledger entries, so we can do all of the applications, showing documents and all that fun stuff. And then finally, our traditional AR aging details, right? So you'll notice some people are highlighted and red and bolded and things like that. That's because we have this custom calculation called average paydays, and this is calling out that their average paydays is greater than their payment terms. It's also flagging them as a late payer and showing us the last time they made payment. So if I look at this first record, we see that, if I need to call them real quick, I can call them. Their credit limit's $300,000. They're at $232,000. They're supposed to pay us in 7 days. They take 147 days to pay us, and they haven't paid us since June, right? That's not great. I want to look into this. I want to see in that 121 plus, is it just one invoice? No, it's like 100 invoices, right? So they're just not paying us, right? This is probably a customer I want to call, have a conversation with. This allows us to do that. Additionally, for let's see, my partner. Where's my partner webinar test, right? So here's the customer I just created. We can see that they paid us today because I did that prepayment. Net 15, average paydays is 0 because I literally paid it the same day it came out. And I've got $1,600 here. So I could see, again, what documents make up that balance. I could drill into one of these documents. And from a collection standpoint, I've got my notes over here, but if I needed to, I could just add another note and say, at Ben, please follow up with client and see if they can pay today, right? So I'm going to leave that note directly on this posted sales invoice. If I come back into my email, give it 1 second, it should have, there we go, an advanced note. Ben, please follow up with the client, see if they can pay. All right, I'll give it a shot. I don't know what they're talking about, so I'm going to click on this link. And that link will actually bring me back directly into the user interface with that posted sales invoice right here. So some pretty neat stuff as we bounce around our financial dashboard. Let me come back here. A couple more things I want to show. That's the AR view. Obviously, we have an AP view that's very similar. We've got inventory statistics, sales statistics. We've got a cash flow forecast that you can do. But I'm quickly going to show you my general tab before jumping into the health check and wrapping this up. So a couple of my favorite things here. One is our KPIs, just see basic things like your average daily sales, net gross margins, AR payments on time, AP payments on time, day sales outstanding. Those are just the ones I have selected. There's about 25 that you can select from. And as I change my date filters, you'll notice that the KPIs are changing as well. So if I look over the quarter to date, my AP, I'm actually only getting 62% of my AP payments out on time. I'm short of my goal there. Balance checks, we'll get into this in the health check real quick, so I'm going to skip it for now. And then, of course, no financial dashboard would be complete without showing some of your favorite reports, like your balance sheets, income statements, and anything else you've got there. I did some fund accounting stuff. You can see this was for a not-for-profit that I recently did. Haven't updated those names yet, but statement of activities, income statement, statement of financial position, balance sheet, some funds, all that good stuff. All right, give me 2 more minutes, Anna, then I'll pass it back to you for rounding us out. Last thing I've got to show is this free health check app. Search for health check. It's all directly embedded into BC, as we all know by now. And first thing I'll start with that I just briefly touched on in the financial dashboard is our balance checks. So here we can quickly see at the top, bank accounts, what GL account is each bank account tied to. That should be a one-to-one relationship. What's our posting group balance or just our bank balance? What's our GL balance, and does it tie or not? This case, we can see this one's off by about $200. Same with subledger to general ledger, AP, AR, banks, inventory, prepayments. Does your general ledger tie to your subledger? If not, your direct posting is probably turned on. We have a direct posting warning feature here as well that will show any GL accounts that have direct posting turned on that are also tied to a posting group. So this kind of just gives you a quick glimpse, again, across all of your modules in a one-stop shop. We've got some bank balance activity. We've got number series warnings, just as your number series running out. Documents, sales orders shipped not invoice, purchase orders received not invoice, and then both old sales documents and old purchase documents based on the system created date past a given time frame, which is configurable by you. Couple more things that I want to show here real quick in the health check. We've got our setups. So setups, just think posting groups, right? Does my combination exist? That's the first thing I'm looking at. And if the combination exists between business posting group and product posting group, does our GL accounts populated, right? This is one of the main error messages I see folks getting on our help desk is sales account doesn't exist. Purchase credit memo account doesn't exist. Well, it doesn't exist because you don't have it set up, right? If you just populated this, now you can check on that very easily. You're going to reduce the number of errors that your users get in Business Central. So this is why this is huge at go live, as well as inheriting other customers. You can really help clean things up and really improve that user experience. The second biggest ticket I see is you can't post into this date because of 3 or 4 different reasons. All of those typically are broken down right here. General ledger setup, user setup, right? Who are my users? What are their posting dates? What's my system dates? This is really bad how I have it set up here. I should not have them both blank, but this is great because the health check is meant to call these things out and meant to help you fix them. So immediately I want to go lock this down just to November. And maybe if Matt's still working on last month, I want to have this back to October as well as November so that he can close out the month, right? Closed accounting periods, accounting period warnings, a bunch of good stuff there. Last thing I'm going to show is system setup. Again, just touching the surface on this free health check app before I pass it back. But system overview, who are all my users? Are they logged in currently? When's the last time they logged in? What license do they have? And what's their license type? Full application, external, things like that. Job queue warnings, do you have any job queues that are currently failing? And if so, let's get those fixed. I've also got a note that can automatically be sent to your email that will tell you as soon as a job queue fails. And then finally, currency exchange rate last updated. We want to make sure that our currencies are updated real time. There's functions to do that. We can see the Canadian dollar here has not been updated since last year. Obviously, a lot has fluctuated since. So that definitely needs to be updated. So appreciate everybody joining today. And Anna, back to you.
Thanks, Ben. It's easy to see why these apps are some of the most popular, especially based on all of the partner reactions and the hearts and the thumbs up through the presentation. So thank you for doing that, Ben. And really, Ben is just scratching the surface. He covered 8 of the 30 apps that we have to offer. So if you want to deep dive into any of the additional apps on this list, please reach out and we'll get a demo on the calendar for you.